Commas. Let's review some comma rules. There are 3 comma rules to look at first. Number 1, we use commas to add extra information to a sentence. For example, the teacher, Jill, is in her office. So I'm just adding in this extra name in the middle of my subject verb. The teacher is in her office. The teacher, Jill, and can you hear the comma? The teacher, little pause, Jill, little pause, that's the music of a comma, is in her office. Number 2, we use commas when you are combining or connecting 2 sentences to make a compound sentence. So here's a compound connector, right? Grammar is difficult, but I like my English class. So right before my compound connector, I use a comma. And then number 3, you use a comma after you start a sentence with a complex connector to make a complex sentence. So if I'm starting my sentence with a connector like before you submit your final draft, you should analyze the sentence variety. So you can put a comma here after your first clause, before your next subject verb. Okay, so let's look at the commas in these sentences. Why are they here? Number 1, my friend, who is from China, helps me with my homework. So this is like rule number 1, right? I'm adding extra information in the middle between my friend and my verb, the subject and the verb. My friend, who is from China, kind of like on the side. Number 2, Salma is from Jordan and Zoltan is from Hungary. So I have my compound connector here with a comma before. So that's the rule from number 2 in a compound sentence. Number 3, students can work on their laptops or they can use the computers in the library. So here I have a sentence, students can work on their laptops. I have another sentence, they can use the computers in the library, and I'm connecting them with a compound connector. So I put a comma before. And then number 4, when I arrive early, everyone is surprised. So this is like rule number 3. I'm starting my sentence with a complex connector, and so I have a comma at the end of the first clause before my independent clause. Everyone is surprised. Could be an independent sentence. But I'm connecting them by starting with when. So I need a comma. Can you hear it? When I arrive early, everyone, early, little pause, early, everyone is surprised. Okay, a couple more comma rules here. So let's look at this chart here. We've got comma rules on the left side and then examples on the right side. So we use commas with a series of 3 or more words or phrases. For example, Michael likes to eat apples, oranges, and watermelon. So apples, oranges, and watermelon. So we have comma, comma, and then you put and right before the last item in my list. Apples, oranges, watermelon. Apples, oranges, and watermelon. We use commas after little introductory phrases like yes, no, yes I do. No, she didn't. No, comma, yes, comma. For example, so like those little transition words, actually, for example, could be a transition word. Well, sorry, she's not here. So after these little introductory words or phrases, we have a comma. Yes, I am a student. Between a city and a state, you use a comma. Shenzhen lives in Seattle, Washington. So there's a comma between the city and the state. The day, the month and the date, and then the year. So today is Tuesday. There's the day. I need a comma. March 2nd, not after March, after 2nd. And then you have the year. So we have a comma after the day and a comma after the date. And finally, we know this one, transition words, first, second, third. And so all these transition words, you have a comma. First, we will turn on our computers. So put a comma after those transition words. So you're going to practice in the next practice on your Canvas page.